1844. It was a very sad day for people who waited for the coming of Jesus Christ, right? So it didn't happen, and we're still waiting. I believe that in this church, we have been waited for someone or something. In life, we are waiting for something. I'm very glad to be with you. This is the first week of 2025, so I hope that everyone have a fresh start and we can go on and to worship our God in this year. And I believe that miracles and many things will going to be happening in our church, and we pray that our church will be growing, and spiritually, mentally, physically we will be much better in this year. May God bless you all. And I would like to start with a short story from Gavin MacLeod and his wife named Patty. I'm not sure if you know Gavin MacLeod. He is a very famous actor in America, and it was a TV series, and the title is The Love Boat. And it was, I think he was very famous in 1977 to 1986. So 1977, I was just born a year ago. So what happened to this couple? Gavin was very famous, and he was a celebrity, and people love him. And after that, some bombs happened between the relationship, and Gavin left his wife Patty. And actually, Patty never wanted that divorce. And instead of giving up, she not only prayed but to put action behind her faith. And every night, even though she lived alone, she would set two places at the dinner table, one for her and one for Gavin. I think it will be very hard to do it, right? Even though Gavin is not at home, and she prepared two set of plates, and she spent alone. And like she's very, very patient to wait her husband. And after 4 years later, unexpected knock at the front door, and she opened it, and it was Gavin. And Patty smiled at him and said, "Come on in, your dinner getting cold. Today we have our marriage anniversary, 26th anniversary." So they had dinner together on that evening. You know how many years she waited? 4 years. So today my title is Waiting, Watching, and Working. If you look back to the history of our forefather, or in the Old Testament, all the faithful leaders and all the people have been waited for a very long time. I think waiting is a part of our faith, right? No, I just noticed it. Waiting is a part of our faith. Imagine how many years Abraham waited for his first son, in the blessed son. And how many years Noah waited? 120 years until the flood came, right? So how many years people have been waiting? When I was in college, one of the pastors, he was very famous in our Seventh-day Adventists in Burma, and he told us that Y2K, after year 2000, probably all the computer system will be closed and everything will be shut down, and Jesus is coming, right? So he was preaching around. He really believed it. Y2K, exactly it was the time. We counted 6,000 years from the creation, right? Y2K. So he really expected Jesus is coming. So all the computer system will be shutting down and everything will be in a mess. So he preached very lively. And after Y2K, nothing happened. So he was like 4 or 5 years, he was silent. He didn't even want to preach anymore. Even though he was Adventist pastors, and he was silent. And so after 10 or 20 years, he come back and he started with a fresh start, and now he's continuing his ministry in the United States right now. So what I mean to say is waiting is a part of our faith and our church as well. And we know in the history 1844. It was a very sad day for people who waited for the coming of Jesus Christ, right? So it didn't happen, and we're still waiting. So I believe that in this church, we have been waited for someone or something. In life, we are waiting for something. For young people, for young generations, they waited for a dream to come to pass and waiting to meet the right person. For the young people, right? Waited for someone who is the right person, right? Still waiting or just stop waiting? I don't know. People are still waiting for someone who is special, and it's hard to wait, right? You know, when my wife, I met her, and actually my age was 36 already when I met her. And for me, I want to marry her immediately, no waiting. But she was 10 years younger than me, so her mother said, no, not yet, because my daughter is still young, and they still have, you know, still have their future, and they need to study, you know, whatever. She talked to me, so I was a little bit mad because I was 36 already, so I have to get married already. I was old already, so I waited, and they flew to the U.S. and after 2 years, and I flew here, and I don't know, we can meet again. And I have been waiting, and finally I applied U.S. visa with my permanent residency. And people said, no, you cannot get, you know, U.S. visa because you are here permanent resident, and you know, you can do it. So I pray. No, I really pray. Like I went to somewhere with my car, and I pray at least half an hour every evening to have to be granted the U.S. visa. So finally I went there, and they asked me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to visit my relatives. It's a white lie. If I say I'm going to marry someone, then they will not give me visa. So I said, I'm going to visit my relatives. So they asked me many questions. Do you have a job? And I have a part-time job here. And are you coming back to Australia? I said, yes, I'm coming back. And so tell me your history. What are you doing, you know, for a living? And I said, oh, my father was pastors in Myanmar, and now we come here, and I'm serving in the Seventh-day Adventist as a Bible pastoral worker. So they said, okay, I trust you. You will come back. You know, don't stay there. So I said, okay, I promise you, because I'm working in ministry as well. I will not lie you. So I come back. So after that, you know, whenever I applied U.S. visa, you know, I was granted, you know, until the last time I went there in 2022. So we have been waiting for something, right? Something. So there is a right way to wait and a wrong way to wait. 31. They that wait upon the Lord will mount with wings as eagle. Right? Wait. If you can wait it patiently, you know, God will give you strength like an eagle. You know. So wait doesn't mean you are idle. You do nothing. You know, it's not passive. It's active. Right? So I have another version. The Amplified version says, it said, those who expect, who hope, who look for God's goodness. Who looks for God's goodness. So waiting means you are looking for God's goodness, God's blessing. So we are expecting something doesn't mean we just doing nothing. You know, as the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we are waiting for the second coming of the Lord. Then we just come to church and we just wait. That's not the way we are waiting. We will be very active to share the word of God. And in the life of David says in Psalm chapter 5 verse 3, each morning I bring requests to you and wait expectantly. Wait expectantly. It means you have to bring your wish every morning and wait expectantly. You know, this is the way we have to wait. So the expectancy is your faith being released. Expectancy is your faith. It will be released. So in In the life of David, David says in Psalm chapter 23 verse 6, surely goodness and mercy will follow me. So as he is waiting, he's expecting God's goodness and mercy. It will follow you. It will follow you as you are waiting. Waiting cannot be affected by your circumstances, right? Sometimes we are waiting, but something affects the way you wait. Right? So in Psalm chapter 27, if you read it through, then David faced all the troubles and violence, and even Saul and the soldiers, and he was the most wanted person in the country of Israel. Even though he was anointed as king by Samuel, and he was waiting for the time and he will be the king, and he was facing all the troubles while he was waiting, right? So but he wasn't actually sad and just doing nothing. He was praying. What he says, he is expecting and he is hoping in God's protections, and he's hoping for God's mercy and goodness. That's what he was. So like David, we may face difficulties in our life as we start our life in this new year, and we may have a little or very big difficulties in the beginning of our year in 2025. But as David, we have to look God's goodness and mercy. It will follow us. And the Bible says in Hebrews 11, 1-3, you are not moved by what you see, you are moved by what you, right? Everything we see in our life may disturb your way, but we have faith. It doesn't mean, it means we don't see it, but we have faith that God will protect us in our life, right? So in Psalm chapter 112 and 4 said, 112 verse 4 said, darkness overtake the righteous and light will come bursting in, right? So darkness overtake the righteous. If you are the righteous person, nothing can against you, right? Nothing can against you. Here is the promise, light will come bursting in. Bursting doesn't mean just a little twinkling light. It is a very, very big light that it can really protect you from all the harms and all the troubles you are facing, right? God's promise is actually more than enough for us. Let's look at the book of James. If you have been a farmer, you may know, right? So you have to sow the seed and plant. You have to sow the seed and you have to water it. You have to clean. You have to make it like it will grow. But only God can make it grow, right? In James chapter 5 verse 7 says, see how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop and patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. The farmers can only plant the seed and patiently wait when it will gonna sprout or it will be growing, right? So the farmer continues expecting and doing what he must do, right? So the first thing he do is he plant it and he water it, and he has no doubt that's going to happen with so many crops, and he waits with patience. This must be our quality in our Christian life. We have to plan it, right? We have to plan it. So waiting means we have to plan it. We have to plan it because as the farmer, we have to plan it. Unless we plan what you are going to wait, right? So you have to water it, right? Waiting means you plant something, right? You have something and you expected something. You have some hope to wait, right? Waiting doesn't mean you have nothing in your mind. Can you relate it to your personal experience? So now, what are you waiting for this year, 2025? Have you already planted something in your mind? Have you already set a goal for this year, right? So if you don't have nothing, if you have nothing, then what you are going to wait, right? It will be a waste of time, right? So waiting means you planted something and you water it, and now you are waiting for God's blessing, and you wait with patience. So James used Job as the example for how to wait. In James chapter 5 verse 11 say, it's my summary. He gives great honor to those who endure under suffering. For instance, about Job, a man of great endurance. You can see how the Lord was kind to him at the end, for the Lord is full of tenderness and mercy. So Job waited for healing, right? He was actually upset. He was very upset, and many people telling him that if you just leave your faith and leave it. You know, what you believe is not true. That's why you are sick. And he said what? You know, my Lord will rescue me. My Lord will heal me. That's what he had planted the right seed in his mind. The right seed in his mind. Then he watered it with faith. And finally, his faith or his hope really grow and sprout. And he was healed. And he was blessed with double portion. Right? So that's the way we have to wait in our life as well. Right? So sufferings and troubles and problems doesn't mean you are failed. Right? You are failed. It doesn't mean you are failed. Because it is on the process. Right? So what happens when you plant a seed? When you plant a seed, after a week, if you just dig it and seed the seed, then what happened with the seed? It's spoiled. Right? It's spoiled. You know, if the seed is not spoiled, then, you know, there is no new plant to be grown. Right? So sometimes in our life, we just focus on our problems and what happened in our family or our church. It doesn't mean we are failing. It doesn't mean we are failing because it's just, you know, on the process. On the process, it's growing. It's growing very soon. You know, Moses had many problems with his work, right? Many people didn't accept him. Even his people didn't accept him. But he has been very patient, and he was really patient. Be patient. If you read the story of Israelites marching to the land of Canaan, then what happened? Many people are arguing, and many people are just shouting at the leader, and sometimes God was very angry, right? Have you read it? God was angry, and God said, what? I want to wipe these people out, and I will kill everyone, and I will just make another group of my people. You know, God actually he was really regret, right? And finally what happened? Moses said, no, God, be patient. You know, God even stopped God not to kill his people, right? So he was really patient. So waiting. Moses was waiting until he died. And he even saw the future of Israel, the people of Israel. And Abraham was waiting as well, right? So while we are waiting, all the problems and all the tragedies and all things will going to be happening while we are waiting. That's for sure, right? So it doesn't mean we are failed on the road, on the path to the place where we want to go, right? So this is a very funny short story I read from a book. You know, young couples, they have a very small apartment, and apartments filled with furniture, and they hope that they will not stay here long times. So many people ask them, you have many stops in your house, so why you keep buying things in your apartment? Because they have no place to place all the things. So this couple say, no, we will not stay here for a long time. We are moving soon to a splendid new apartment. You know, that's what they kept saying. So this is, you know, this is the perception we need in our life as well. Now, many people may ask you, how is your family? What happened? Are you together again? Or whatever they may ask you. But positively, you can say, we will be together. We will be together. Our family will be together again. That's what we have to expect. You know, like Gavin and Patty. Patty had waited for 4 years until her husband come back to her. Right? He was just waiting with action. Prepare meal for him every time she eats on the table. Even though Gavin is not sitting here, she's prepared. She prepared a dinner, lunch, and breakfast for Gavin. After 4 years, Gavin came back. And this couple as well. And the couple said, this place is temporary. Whenever people ask the couple, they always reply, we are moving soon to a splendid house. Then finally what happened? God bless them. God bless them, and they have a splendid house. So that's a little things even God can work. So can your faith be seen? Are you waiting like the farmer, making preparation for your harvest? So I believe that everyone in this room want to do a harvest, soul winning, or even a success in your family. You will do it something for your life, right? That's what we have been waiting for. And the Apostle Paul did this as well. He was in prison for spreading the good news. In the natural, there is no reason to think that he would get out. This is also very funny. When I read it, he was in the prison, and he looked like it was his destiny to stay in the prison for the end of his life, until the end of his life. But Paul was not complaining, and he was not discouraged, but he was making plan to be free. What he said to his fellow people, Paul said to a friend that came to visit him, keep a guest room ready for me, for I am filled with hope that God would answer my prayers. That's what he replied to people. Imagine the Romans. They were very, very, very strict. Roman soldiers, they don't free people usually, right? But Paul said, make me a room ready for me, then I will be there with you. Actually he was in the prison, right? He was in the prison, but he said, I will be free and I will be with you, right? So that's what we have to expect in this year. I believe that you have already set a goal for your life, what you want to be. Even the church leaders, we want to do something in this church, right? So I believe that we already planted it. As a family, in your family, I believe that you have already planted a seed to be grown. And then what we have to do is we have to weigh it with action, right? We have to weigh it with action. So this is my final quotation from Ellen White, from Testimonies to Ministers and Gospel Workers. And we are waiting and watching for the grand and awful scene which will close up this earth's history, writes Ellen White. But we are not simply to be waiting, we are to be vigilantly working with reference to this solemn event. The living church of God will be waiting, watching, and working. See? If we are the living church, what we have to do is we have to wait and watch and work, right? None are to stand in neutral position. We are to represent Christ in active, earnest effort to save perishing souls. So, to save perishing souls is our main goal. Meanwhile, even if we have problems in our family, problems in our relationship, then we can still wait patiently, and God will work in the process. And as you planted the seed, the right seed to be grown, and you just water it with patiently and waited it with patiently, then finally the growing is the work of our God. May God bless you all. Thank you.